Hello, my name is Erik Anderson. This is my story. I was born into a Christian family in the year 1989 and lived in Tennessee for the first 12 to 13 years of my life. During the time before I moved to Iowa, I realized I was different in a lot of ways from other kids. I did not socialize well, often got in trouble with my teachers and parents, and misinterpreted social cues quite a bit. This often led to teachers dismissing me as a lost cause, like I would never amount to anything. Although my parents didn't do this, and realized many times I didn't misbehave on purpose, it still left a strong impact on me that I would carry for much of my life. I eventually found out via a brain clinic in California called the Amen Clinic I was acting this way because I was on the autism spectrum. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome and ADHD, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I was given a regimen of medications to take to alleviate the symptoms of my disability, and although the medicines worked and helped me function my best, I still felt the need to prove myself to the rest of the world. I wasn't going to be a lost cause. I could succeed regardless of what people had said about me. However, this would prove very difficult due to lingering effects of the condition as well as bad influences. It got me introduced to porn and masturbation, shunning, and outright bullying, and left me depressed and wanting to leave school as quickly as I could. Thanks to help from teachers, my parents, and God, I got out of there in one piece and got my diploma. College, however, was a different story. The unstructured atmosphere and not having immediate consequences for my actions led to me flunking out after a year or two. This was not the end of my troubles, though, as joining a DMAC church group, while helping me to grasp the basics of the gospel, ended up with me getting kicked out of a condo that I was leasing along with 4 other men in the group. This event, in one fell swoop, nearly killed my faith and left me bitter and hopeless. I worked many dead-end jobs in the 3 to 4 years afterward, unable to stick with one for more than 2 years. The prospect of having my parents pay my rent for the rest of their lives, as well as being a burden to them emotionally and financially, stung me more than any whip or branding I ever could. I was ashamed of the amount I had accomplished in my life so far compared to my former classmates. So there I was, unemployed, believing that there was a God, but not wanting anything to do with him anymore, and trapped in the pitiful life that my choices had led to. But here is the twist. Just like fire melts metal ore to be made into useful things, I know and truly believe that God was using the horrible circumstances I had experienced to work a miraculous turnaround and form me into the person he wanted me to be. I was recommended a video on YouTube about Mr. Rogers, where he had been asked, "What is the most important life lesson you have learned?" It turned out to be about forgiveness. I was so inspired by it and finally realized the unforgiveness in my heart and what it was doing to me. This led to me calling the few remaining people in the DMAC church group, asking them for forgiveness, which they graciously gave me. Even though I was not going to their church anymore, it felt great to release that burden I had been bearing for so long. One day in 2021, I was browsing my Facebook messages and found one in my high school alumni group about a gathering in a church happening on Tuesday that week. I thought many of my classmates would be there, so I went and found out it was a church ministry for young adults called The Porch. I was inspired to keep attending because of the friendly atmosphere and truthful yet grace-based outlook of the church members, but without the guilt of failing to follow the rules of the church and the fear of being shunned when I messed up. So I kept attending, and still do to this day. I also finally understood the almighty truth of the gospel, the concept of Jesus coming and living the life I could not, paying the penalty I could never pay, and dying and raising from the dead to give me the life he deserved. And today, I'm getting rebaptized and rededicating my life to God and his way. Through it all, I've learned that God can do crazy things with broken people if they decide to try his approach and do things his way. The verse in 2 Corinthians 12, 9 through 10 finally rings true for me. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest upon me. That is why, for Jesus' sake, I delight in hardships, weaknesses, in insults, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. By God's grace, I have reached a point in my life where I finally feel like I have no need to prove myself. I am not a lost cause anymore. I am a man who has found his cause.